All right, it's November 10th. It is 38 degrees Fahrenheit. It is very windy. We've had crazy rain over the last couple of weeks, but in between the rain and the cold, I've been trying to get some things planted in the field out here so that the bees will have stuff to forage in the springtime. So last week in the pouring rain, I went up here and I planted 200 or 300 bulbs right over here. All right, it is bulb planting day here, and we have a variety of spring bulbs: daffodils, tulips, ALLIUM, bluebells, grape hyacinth, and crocus. I think today I'm going to try and plant the big ones. I'm going to plant the tulips, the ALLIUM, and the daffodils, and then leave the bluebells, the hyacinth, and the crocus for another day because it's pouring rain outside. I'm going to put on the wet weather gear and start putting these in the ground. Couple hundred daffodil and tulip bulbs. I planted my ALLIUM in here. These are the big tall giant ones, so we should have some 4-foot tall flowers in here in the springtime. I have been tilling the field, so just sort of turning all this old buckwheat in, so we'll get some buckwheat in the springtime, but also all of the milkweed is blowing all over the field. So you can see the little sort of cottony, flossy stuff. So I tilled the soil, just turned it up, and then over here we have these patches of milkweed that are just blowing across. And over here we have our goldenrod patch, this is the densest, thickest area of goldenrod we have. And there was some spotty goldenrod in here, but I tilled this all down a couple weeks ago, and then I went and I took seeds from the patch and spread them all over that area. So this would spread naturally over time, but I'm going to try and do a little artificial seed spreading. So we got all these goldenrod seeds here. So we have two different kinds of goldenrod. There's the early goldenrod, which is shorter, and then the late goldenrod, which is big. I'm going to do some early goldenrod. Hey, Pep. I don't know if that's going to work, but it probably helped. All right, the other day I was up here and I was planning on planting all these bulbs, but the ground was frozen, so I rototilled this again. And today it is a relatively warm day. It's in the 40s. And we're going to throw the bulbs right down here and poke them into the soil and hopefully have some spring flowers. Crocus, grape hyacinth, and bluebells. We have 2,100 bulbs that are going to go right in here in this strip. There they are. Boom, we're done with those. All right, and these are the bluebells, which I've never grown before. These are definitely bigger. These are all bluebells, and then we got the grape hyacinth and the crocus right on the other side of the bee yard. So the bee yard's surrounded by early, and then up here we have tulips and daffodils and ALLIUM. So all of our bulbs are right surrounding the bee yard. And it'll be the first thing the bees get to experience in the springtime. And then the other flowers will start coming in, and then we have our apples here, and then the fall we have the goldenrod. And I still have about 2 or 3 acres over here to play with that I'm trying to figure out the best plants that will be flowering in the summertime. So that's going to be my winter homework here, is figuring out exactly what to plant up in that field. So I've tried clover now for 3 years, 3 seasons, and I just cannot get clover to grow here very well. It just gets taken over by the thick sod we have. I turn it over, I let the winter kill it, and then I put the clover down in the springtime, and then the grass comes up before the clover comes up, and then it's just 2-foot tall grass. So the buckwheat grows very well here. The problem with the buckwheat is that the bees, they're all over it, but there's no buckwheat sort of going into the hives. I didn't notice any buckwheat nectar, like a tiny little bit, but I had over an acre of buckwheat planted this year, this summer, and I mean, it was thick, and there was very, very little dark buckwheat honey this year, so I don't know where it went. So I'm looking for summer field crop. We have very well-drained soil. It's on the acidic side, rocky, you know, it drains really well, so it's not like heavy clay soil. It's very good draining soil. But I'm looking for some field crops for a couple acres that will be flowering in July. That's what we need here. So any suggestions, please comment below.